election. Now, Michael Cohen is talking about how he went about getting the $130,000. He said he did it around his wife's back. He didn't want her to find out.
He didn't want his wife to know, so he went to get this home equity loan as opposed to writing a check from his personal bank account. She was in charge of those personal bank accounts. She would know if he was writing a check for $130,000. He wasn't about to tell her why.
Exactly. He wanted to keep that from his wife. I've never seen a witness who's lied to Congress, who's lied in court, who's lied to the IRS, who's lied to the Southern District of New York, who lied to his banker. The entire prosecution witness team has been lied to by Michael Cohen.
Again, it's all just gone downhill from there. Oh, the Alvin Bragg case against President Trump, if you could believe it, climaxed today with their calling of the star witness, an admitted serial perjurer, and he offered absolutely nothing. Nothing. The Bragg case against Trump is officially awash. It has officially imploded. The question that remains now is whether this judge is going to do the right thing. That's what we're going to find out. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here with a special live stream Monday. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We got our exclusive backstage private Q&A tonight. If you'd like to join our virtual platform and ask me your questions, just click on that link below and sign up for any level of support. You'll be given your own backstage pass to ask me anything you like. I would love to see you there tonight. All you have to do is just click on that link below or go to fight.turleytalks.com. That's fight.turleytalks.com. Become a supporter of any level, and we'll transition you to our private virtual platform in mere moments. But first, I do want to talk about what happened in New York today in that courtroom. Let me set this up for you a little bit. Back in March, so just literally a couple of months ago, Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, was in court. He was in court because he was seeking a reduction in his federal sentence. He was, of course, sentenced back in 2018 after pleading guilty to charges of tax evasion, making false statements to a federally insured bank, and campaign finance violations. It was in that court appearance back in March that U.S. District Judge Jesse M. Furman declared Cohen a serial perjurer and someone whose testimony simply could not be trusted. Now, again, what's so important to get here is that that's not the declaration of a CNN, pundit. That's not the declaration of some social media personality. This isn't a mere opinion. That was the declaration of a U.S. District Court. Cohen is a serial liar whose testimony cannot be trusted. Fast forward to today. For some reason, which I think we've discerned, I'll share that with you in mere moments, but for now, for some reason, this Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, along with the Democrat Party and the whole of the legacy media, together believed that court-declared serial perjurer should be put forward as the star witness in this hush money case against President Trump. Now, thus far as we speak, after more than 3 weeks of testimony, the prosecution has offered literally not a shred of evidence whatsoever. None, zippo, nada, that President Trump ever in any way committed a campaign finance violation. That, of course, is what this whole circus is all about. Remember, all that matters in the end in this case is the objective nature of the hush money payment. Was that payment, again, not even made by Trump, It was made by his lawyer at the time, Michael Cohen, who's an admitted serial liar, right? Who, as it turns out, made the payment taking out a home equity line of credit behind his wife's back. I mean, he's lying to everybody, regardless. In the end, all that matters is whether that payment was a campaign finance violation. That's what this trial is all about. This is what it's all centered on. Was that payment a campaign violation? Campaign finance violation? Can it be shown that that payment can only ever be a campaign expense? Like paying a pollster, like paying a campaign advisor. Can it be shown that that payment can only ever be a campaign expense? Or are there multiple possible reasons for that payment? Did the payment serve multiple purposes, such as trying to keep information away from Melania, trying to keep information away from his kids, trying to keep information away from investors, business partners, whatever? It is obvious thus far, given the state of things in this trial, it is obvious, especially given the fact that the payment was not even designated as a legal expense. That's how this whole thing started originally, right? Trump supposedly falsified his business records. It was not even designated as a legal expense until after the election was over. It is obvious that this hush money payment and hush money payments in general fall under the second category. Hush money payments can, by definition, be made for all kinds of reasons that are not specific by any stretch of the imagination to a campaign expense, again, like paying a pollster or campaign manager, and therefore cannot possibly be considered a campaign finance violation. Case closed. Alvin Bragg's team, the prosecution, has thus far not offered a single shred of evidence at all. I mean, literally at all. 3 weeks into this, not a single shred of evidence to show how a hush money payment is specific to a campaign expense. Not one. And the answer to that all is obviously they can't. That's why the Justice Department did not touch this. That's why the previous Manhattan DA did not touch this. They didn't go anywhere near this. And then, as if to make this circus all the more absurd, this Alvin Bragg, this Manhattan DA, turned to a serial liar, a court-declared serial perjurer, as his star witness. And again, true to form, Michael Cohen today offered nothing. No objective evidence, nothing other than his already tarnished word and a completely irrelevant tape-recorded conversation. Tape-recorded, listen to me, I'm dating myself. Conversation recorded on his phone with Trump, completely irrelevant to the $130,000. When all's said and done, Cohen offered nothing more than his word versus Trump's word. And of course, in an American court system that's predicated on the presumption of innocence, there's obviously nothing there, obviously. But astonishingly, and here's what we really need to take from all of this, if we take several steps back, none of this seems to bother Alvin Bragg at all. He apparently does not care that he hasn't presented one shred of objective evidence that Trump's hush money payment was somehow, some way specific to a campaign expense and therefore a campaign finance violation. What Bragg appears to be doing in the end is he seems to be assuming that this New York jury, which is presumably made up of radically liberal left-wing sentiments, that New York jury is going to convict Trump simply on the grounds that he is Donald Trump. Bragg is operating on the assumption that this jury believes that Trump's crime is ultimately being Trump. So what on earth is Bragg even doing here, dragging in this serial liar? Well, I think we got the goods on him. I think we know exactly what Bragg is doing here. But first, if you are just joining us, we're about to go to our exclusive backstage private Q&A tonight. So if you'd like to join our virtual platform and ask me your questions, just click on that link below and sign up for any level of support, and you'll be given your own backstage pass to ask me anything you like. So just click on that link below or go to fight.turleytalks.com. That's fight.turleytalks.com. Join any level of support, and we will transition you to our private virtual platform in mere moments. Here I want to turn to my namesake, Jonathan Turley, the professor of law at George Washington University, and his analysis of this circus, and he does believe this is an out-and-out circus. According to Turley, Bragg is very concerned that there's going to be what's called a directed verdict in all of this. Now, what does that mean? Well, after the government closes its evidence, after the prosecution rests, the defense will then move for what's called a directed verdict. In other words, they will ask this judge, Judge Merchan, Juan Merchan, to end this case before it even goes to the jury. And by the way, Turley makes it very clear he believes absolutely that should be the case. In other words, the judge should intervene, which he has the right to do, and declare the defendant Trump not guilty on the basis that the evidence is totally insufficient to sustain a conviction. In other words, it's his assumption that this thing is going to be tossed out on appeal, hands down. And it goes even deeper than that. It goes even deeper. It's not even a lack of evidence here. There's still total confusion on what crime Trump allegedly tried to cover up. What is he actually being charged with? Remember, the original charge was a misdemeanor of falsifying business records by claiming that the $130,000 paid to Stormy Daniels was a legal expense. The problem was that the statute of limitations ran out on that years ago, and it was just a misdemeanor. And so, in an effort by the Manhattan DA's office to basically zap this thing back to life, he turned it into a felony crime by accusing Trump of falsifying business records in order to cover up another crime, which in the state of New York is a felony. If you falsify business records in order to cover up another crime, that's a felony. The problem is we still don't know what that other crime is. Was it paying Stormy Daniels hush money? Sorry, that's not a crime. It's done every day. Famous people pay off grifters all the time, okay? Oh, no, they say. No, it was paying Stormy Daniels in order to keep her alleged affair hidden from Trump's campaign. Okay, then again, how is paying hush money a campaign expense, like paying a pollster? And how does that in any way relate to falsifying business records that were supposedly falsified after the election, not before it, after it? And every witness that Bragg has called forward has only ended up strengthening the defense. For example, Bragg decided to lead off his case by putting up David Pecker, former publisher of the National Enquirer tabloid. he came in as the first witness against Trump. Now, Pecker had supposedly been paid to kill a story of a Trump affair with a different woman, a former Playboy model some years back. What ended up happening is that Pecker proceeded to make the prosecution case even more absurd, even more confusing, even more convoluted. When he was subject to cross-examination, this guy Pecker admitted that Trump told him personally that he knew nothing about any reimbursement to Cohen for any hush money. Trump knew nothing about the actual payment to Cohen, let alone how it was filed on their tax returns. He didn't even know there was a payment. So that basically kills the first accusation. But then it got worse. Pecker admitted that he killed similar stories about Trump and other women for decades, paying those women off before Trump ever announced he was running for president, years before, decades before. And he's done it for several celebrities. You see, this is what makes the campaign finance violation charge so hard to prove. There's a whole host of reasons why a celebrity like Trump would want a story buried. It's not necessarily only because he's running for president. And Pecker proved that. He proved it by pointing out that he's personally buried stories on Trump before he ran for president. So that kills the campaign finance violation charge. The payment of hush money is not specific to a campaign expense. It destroys the whole prosecution's case. And then you got Hope Hicks, the former Trump campaign PR person. Her testimony actually her testimony destroyed Bragg's case because she came out and said explicitly that Trump was worried about all of this because of Melania. He was worried about Melania, right? A lot of people forget Trump and Melania have been married for 20 years. Of course, he's going to be concerned about all these women coming out and making these allegations. But the point here is that she confirmed that as far as Trump was concerned, this was about a lot more than a campaign. This is about protecting his family. Again, there's nothing about this payment that is specific to a campaign expense. And then, of course, you had Stormy Daniels, right? Porny Daniels. Who did what? What did she do for this case? Nothing. It's totally immaterial whether or not he had an affair. That's totally irrelevant. He denies it, by the way. I believe him. I don't think Stormy Daniels is his type. He denies it completely. But regardless, what does it matter if he has silk pajama? What does it matter of any of that? It has nothing to do with proving whether or not that payment was made as a direct campaign expense. But apparently that doesn't matter to Bragg. All he needs is a case against Trump. That's it, no matter how bad it is. And apparently, according to Turley, that's going to give Bragg a basis to say to the judge that this case should be given over to a jury and let the jury decide the merits of the case. Which means, as Turley notes here, that Bragg isn't just counting on a compromised jury to convict Trump in the absence of any evidence. Indeed, in the absence of any crime. He's counting on a compromised judge. He's counting on Judge Merchan to look the other way in the face of this forensic farce and actually hand this circus over to a jury. So what will happen? Well, it remains to be seen, but if the testimony of what came out of the courtroom today and over the last 3 weeks is any indicator, the state of New York has forever permanently soiled its legal system as nothing more than a first-class joke. Judge Merchan, it's time to do the right thing. All right, gang, we're going to move on over to our exclusive Backstage virtual platform for Q&A. If you want to join us, just click on that link below. Sign up for any level of support, and you'll be given our own Backstage pass to ask me anything you like. Just click on that link below or join us at fight.turleytalks.com. That's fight www.turleytalks.com. I'll see you over there in about 25 seconds. God bless.